people. Halftime. Bulls, man, listen. This game should not be this close. 62-63, Bulls down by 1 heading into the halftime. Uh Bulls shooting the ball 50% from 3, over 50% from the field overall, shooting the ball very well. They are losing the rebounding battle by 7. They have 6 turnovers in that first half to the New Orleans Pelicans 5. Both teams shooting the ball over 50% overall from the field. This is Graham and McCollum are going off 18 and 13 points respectively from those two. Whereas we got 14 points from Kobe White coming off the bench, a hot shooting night finally from Kobe White, 4 for 5 from 3-pointers, 5 for 8 from the field overall. Zach LaVine, 8 for 11 overall from the field, 23 points in that first half, and Nikola Vucevic with 14 points in that first half. The Bulls are doing some things in this game and at one point they had a decent lead. It's going to come down to the third quarter yet again with the Chicago Bulls. I really do think if the Bulls can come in with great energy, effort on both sides of the ball after the half, in the third quarter, and then maintain, then we can see some things. Listen, we definitely are feeling, and I have DeMar. I think if, of course, DeMar is in this game, it'll be over with by now. And then, of course, they can say too, if Ingram was in this game, it would be right back close. Troy Brown Jr. playing heavy minutes in this game, 13 minutes so far from Troy Brown Jr. The fact that he's still getting burned over Derrick Jones Jr. is just mind-boggling to me. Yeah, it's crazy. Tristan Thompson with 7 minutes so far. Patrick Williams has 11 minutes. He's 1 for 2 from the field. He took a 3-pointer very confidently that I was happy to see him take. But overall, that's where we sit right now. Down 1 point. Not too bad, but not too great either, because the Bulls should be, I think, should be winning. This is my personal opinion by a little bit more, but let's see. We got James Jameson says how they want to hit threes. Now they want to hit threes, I guess is what you're saying. But yeah, hopefully that means that they are getting that back on track. Jay Paid All Day says Zach with the lazy effort on rebounding. Yeah, it cost the easy bucket. That should have been an extra possession for the Chicago Bulls, and that is inexcusable. That is absolutely inexcusable. And Zach's awareness is something that we've always talked about. It's something that, especially if he's going to be here long term, which he is, we're just going to always have to deal with. Hopefully he can fix it. But yeah. PB and Pat says Kobe's looking, it's cooking, but we need to stop Graham. Absolutely. JC 23 says Kobe at the end. Yeah, that was a great 3. Great 3 at the end. Kobe's had another one like that too, and then they ended up taking it back. So let's see what else we got. Jay Simeon, bro, Vooch and LaVine are the worst defenders on the team. Anyone pass, they give up midway through guarding. Listen, I wouldn't say that they're the worst on the team. Hey, listen, Matt Thomas is kind of bad, but I get what you're saying there. I get what you're saying. If DeMar played, LaVine wouldn't be going off. I wouldn't necessarily say that either. LaVine has shown, especially go and look at the last few games. LaVine has gone off even with DeMar being in there. LaVine is getting to that place. I don't know if he's starting to just learn how to manage the pain in that knee a little bit better, but LaVine in like the last 3 or 4 games absolutely takes over in quarters. He takes over in quarters, not whole games, and he's just like, hey, I'm doing me. And so I wouldn't necessarily say that. If the same shots were there for Zach, he'd still take those shots. Bro, this halftime show type lit. I'm not watching it. I'm downstairs now. JQ Chicago says, hey, what's up, Mr. Haize? What's going on, JQ? LaVine is absolutely balling. That is absolute fact. Absolute fact. Zach Nee seems to like those New Balances. Is he actually wearing New Balances tonight? I didn't even pay attention to shoes. I'm worried about this team getting a dub. How can you tee up a player, then give him 2 BS calls in return? Hey, they got to do it. DeMar takes an observable amount of shots if he's playing LaVine. No, and that's not fact. Smith 60, go look at it. Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan are both in the top 10 in the NBA of shots taken per game. There's always enough time. Like that's not you know, you're my brother, but that's not a true narrative. There's always shots for LaVine. Always. LaVine is top 10 in the NBA in shots. So and DeMar I think is 4th. They may have changed. So no, there's always enough shots for both of them. This offense is built around those two doing their things. There's always going to be enough shots for them. Always. Why on earth? I really think it has to be the finger. It has to be because this would have never happened. It has to be. I'm fucking sick of the Bulls. Don't be. Listen, this comes with it. This comes with it. I hate that the refs give the stars like McCullum the makeup call when it was clearly moving. Is McCullum a star? Are we calling McCullum a star in the NBA? Like he's a really good player, but a star. But yeah, I mean listen, we've been officiated weird all season. That's never gonna stop. Never gonna stop. Wrong with us. Haize, these refs are terrible. The Pels should have more fouls, but when they called a charge for CJ when he was moving, we'll call a blocking on Caruso when he when he was still. Yeah, it's the discrepancy. It always happens to the Bulls. Always. Shay in the building. Give the ball to Nikola Vucevic in the post. If you know this offense runs a lot smoother when he's running it through the post. So, I mean, I think we've all been saying that for a while, right? What does Levine have to do to get calls? I told y'all at the beginning of this. Go back and watch some of my early live streams. I told y'all Zach Levine had to smash one of the refs' wife, and all the refing, all the officiate team. They just have it out for Zach Levine this season. I'm telling you, it had to happen. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Zach should have re-signed with Adidas. I mean, was the deal even there though? That's the question. But it is what it is. That man got his check, right? So it is what it is. Bulls are getting nothing from Green, Io, and AC. Billy should start Jones, White, and Pat in the third. You don't just make knee jerk reactions like that. That's not gonna happen. I'll tell you that right now. That's not gonna happen. By no stretch of the imagination is that going to happen. Io is 0 for 5 from the field, though. 3 assists, and that's really it. Io is having a Tony Snell type night right now, and that is not a good thing to say. I don't feel good saying it. But yeah, but you know what? I trust Io to have a better. I wouldn't, I said no, but I wouldn't mind just switching Io and P. Will, in my opinion. But that's if you gave Derrick Jones Jr. some minutes. Like I wish they would just say what's going on with Derrick Jones Jr. JJ Ortiz says, I need Javante or Caruso to score. Listen, Javante, Caruso, or Io start not even going off, right? But if they start hitting open shots consistently, it completely changes the dynamic of this game. Completely changes the dynamic of it. Hope IO bounces back from the slump. Probably his first one as a professional bass. No, he's had other stuff. I think sometimes we forget like the reality of Io DeSumo because he rose so quickly. But Io made mistakes even early in the season, just that he was doing things defensively that kept him in the lineup. But no, Io's had bad stretches before. Hell, but I mean, what Io scored was that last game he scored 15 points. Or the game before that, I think when the Bulls won. I mean, but it's gonna happen. It happens to every player. But it kind of is what it is. Maxi cooked him though. Like Maxi gave him that business. Barry Rice. I can't believe we were down one. I can believe that we're down one because just watching the way that the game went down that stretch. Like we were in, I think at the beginning of the second quarter, probably about through midway of the second quarter, up by like 3 or 5. But it happens. It this is a Bulls team that give up leads. At least it's not a big lead, right? They're only down by 1. Let's keep that in mind. It's only halftime. There's two quarters left of basketball to be played, and they're only down by 1. And they've done enough things in this game, and they're shooting the ball well. If they start getting contributions, like I said, if Caruso, Javante, Io, if Kobe gets even hotter, if Patrick Williams starts scoring some, this game blows up for the Chicago Bulls. I think we saw the best half that the New Orleans Pelicans had, where we did not play our best half possible with the players that we have available. So because of that, the Bulls still have plenty to do and still have plenty of room to still do enough to win this game. So Haize, would you want to get Pat more shots? I've said this since before he went down with injury, literally at the beginning of the season. They are not going to run plays for Patrick Williams. Now, with that being said, that's something that I don't think that they will do. Should they though? In a game like this, yes. In a game like this, where people that you usually can rely on to score aren't really scoring, I think yes. But we'll see. We'll see. Woo. Sorry. Only Vibe says Bulls need to rebound. Absolutely. Absolutely. Getting out rebounded is always going to hurt the Bulls, especially when they're getting out rebounded by almost double digits by 7. So let's see what else we got. Oh, they let New Orleans get no. You can't shake your head at that because there's more shots to go around, which makes teams, if they're smart, more dangerous. Like, keep in mind, yeah, they're down by 1 point, but to get down by 1 point, Graham has only missed 1 shot. McCollum has missed 3 shots. Everybody else on throughout the roster, they've done a pretty good job at guarding. So it took 2 players and 1 player in which you wouldn't expect to fairly go off for the Bulls just to be down by 1, while the Bulls are not getting anything from Caruso. He's only scored 2 points. Io hasn't scored any points. Green hasn't scored any points. So because of that, and they're down one of their players as well. Listen, you can't just look at the box score and because that's gonna, if you just look at the score, it's gonna mislead you. The fact that the Bulls are only down by 1 is because there are some key players that usually give the Bulls some things that aren't. While the Pelicans are getting everything that they usually get plus some from players. So yeah, listen, there's more than enough range for it to pull around. Do, 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 do. You got to stop drilling. And what does that mean? Kobe still is inconsistent. Like what? Okay, that doesn't change it. So you name somebody else who's doing something, and that still doesn't change the fact that Kobe's inconsistent and a worse defender than Alex Caruso. Again, like, I hate that you're making it to this point where you got me arguing against Kobe White, because I've been such a staunch defender of what Kobe White's role is on this team. But this whole narrative of Kobe needs to start because the Bulls win more. No, it's just not good basketball. It's just not good basketball. But he's balling today, and we need that from Kobe White, and I hope he continues to go on in this game. And we're going to definitely need it from Kobe in the playoffs. Joker with a great point. Vooch looks like he is having a shot back. Is it because of the slow centers? Listen, everything ends up getting back to the mean at some point. And Vooch has had a terrible shooting season. Terrible shooting season. At some point, he's going to come back around. At some point, it is, unless he. And this is something that I said at the beginning of the season, right? And people were like, "Are you really saying that a 32-year-old player, Vooch, may just be regressing? He's 31 years old as a big man, but he's even with that being said, still in the top 10 of his position. But we may need to come to the realization that Vooch may be on the decline." And if that is, it's not bad. He got one more year left on this contract. One more year left on this contract. So even if he is on a decline, guess what? It's okay. But Vooch very well may be on a decline, and that's it happens at some point. It happens to big men. Kobe isn't winning. Like, no. Did you see the Bulls record in the seasons that Kobe was the starting point guard? Right? Did you actually watch the basketball that was played? Like, come on, man. Come on. Exactly. Graham hit some crazy threes. If Graham has a more normal game that we expect from him in the second half, this it's over with. What do you think of Cat saying he is the best big man shooter in NBA history? I'd have to really go back. I mean, no, Dirk. Hello, Cat isn't better than Dirk. Is the game actually back on? Because sometimes y'all be saying the game's back on when they just shooting around. Is the game actually back on? D-Dub, I can't believe I'm saying I want Vooch to shoot more threes, but we may need it tonight. I think we need 60 plus from him and Zach tonight. Hey, we may get it. We may get it. But all right, I will see you guys after the game. Thank you for joining the halftime hangout. Make sure you're here after the game. See you guys there. Peace, y'all.